welcome back to another travel diary. This time we are heading to Bali, Indonesia. Our journey wasn't exactly a short one. Since there weren't any direct flights available from Sri Lanka, we first flew to Malaysia and from there we caught our connecting flight to Bali. Even after all the flights I've taken, watching an aircraft lift off never gets old. Before we knew it, it was finally our turn and next stop is Bali. Just like that, we landed and seeing the welcome to Bali sign instantly made everything feel so real. Before doing anything else, there was one very important mission and that's food. So for my first meal here, I thought I would start with something familiar. Our first stop was one of Bali's most photogenic attractions. The moment we walked in, it honestly felt like stepping into another world. Every corner looked like it had been designed with photography in mind. Beautiful gardens, glitter sculptures, unique walkways, and plenty of spots that made you stop and say, okay, I need a photo here. One thing I absolutely loved about this place was how easy they make it for visitors. If you're traveling solo or even as a couple, you really don't need to worry about booking a photographer or a videographer. They offer photography and videography packages right at the window. If you choose one of their premium packages, they will capture everything using their own professional equipment. And if you don't need the full package, you can simply hand over your own phone and camera and the staff will take your photos and videos for you. And you only pay for their service. Honestly, I think it's completely worth it. Instead of spending your time trying to find out camera angles or setting timers, you can simply enjoy the experience. The best part, they don't just press the shutter. They actually guide you throughout the shoot. Where to stand, where to look, where to smile, how to pose. They make the whole process feel so natural. Thanks to their guidance, I came up with some of my favorite travel photos ever. It's one of those experiences I genuinely remember for a long time. After spending quite a while taking photos and probably filling half of my phone's storage already, it was time for our next stop. And this one couldn't have been more different. Hidden away from the busy roads, we arrived at Ulu Petanu Waterfall. The sound of the water reached us before the waterfall itself did, and somehow that made the walk even more exciting. One thing you will notice almost everywhere in Bali is the beautiful little offerings placed on the ground at temple entrances, outside homes, shops, and even beside pathways. These are called Canang Sari.
Praying every day in the morning. Yes, in Balinese, it's all people like this. Yeah, for in the morning or every day for praying.
There are small handmade offerings made with flowers, leaves, and incense prepared daily by Balinese Hindus as a gesture of gratitude and devotion. It's such a beautiful tradition, something so simple yet so meaningful. One thing I didn't realize before visiting was that your ticket gives you access to much more than just the waterfall. The entire area feels like a tropical nature park. Honestly, it felt like walking through a rainforest. Videos really don't do this place justice. Sometimes you just have to stand there, listen to the sound of the water, take a deep breath, and appreciate the moment. It is time to visit one of Bali's most famous and sacred landmarks, Tirta Empul Temple. This temple is believed to be over 1,000 years old and is best known for its holy spring water, where thousands of people come each year to take part in a traditional purification rituals. As soon as we arrived, one thing became very clear: this place was popular. There were visitors from all over the world, and despite the crowds, there was still a peaceful atmosphere that made the temple feel incredibly special. Before entering the main temple grounds, everyone is required to wear a sarong. They are provided at the entrance, and it's all part of respecting the local customs. Walking through the temple, I couldn't help but admire the incredible Balinese architecture. Every gateway, every courtyard, so much detail. It almost felt like an open-air museum. Then we reached the famous purification pools. This was probably the busiest part of the temple. People dressed in traditional attire, patiently waiting for their turn before moving from one water fountain to the next. Each fountain has its own significance, and it was amazing to witness. Even though we weren't participating ourselves, simply observing the rituals gave us a deep appreciation of the culture and tradition that make Bali so unique. One thing I always believe when traveling is this: you don't have to understand every tradition to respect it. Sometimes, just taking the time to observe and appreciate another culture is a beautiful experience on its own. There was also a sacred section of the temple that is only open to those taking part in worship. It's always important to remember that places like this aren't just tourist attractions, and at the exit, we were greeted by a whole street full of little souvenir shops. Our next stop took us somewhere completely different: the famous rice terraces. If you have ever searched for Bali online, chances are high you have already seen photos of places like this. This place is also famous for its giant swings. Now, you don't just pay one entrance fee and hop on every swing. There are different packages depending on which swings and activities you would like to experience, so you can choose whatever suits you best. We headed back and waiting for food. After all that walking, there was only one thing that sounded even better than another meal: a massage. Sometimes a holiday isn't just about seeing our places, it's also about slowing down for a while, feeling completely refreshed. The next activity turned out to be one of the biggest highlights of our entire trip: Beji River Adventure. Our ride for the day, an ATV. At first, we had the option of taking separate ATVs, but we looked at each other and thought, why not do this together? So instead of taking two, my husband and I shared one ATV. Our guide took the lead, and all we had to do was follow him. Within minutes, we were driving through muddy tracks, splashing through water, climbing over uneven ground, and wading our way through the beautiful Balinese countryside. We were driving straight through streamy and muddy puddles, and yes, there was absolutely no way of staying clean. The deeper we went, the more fun it became. I honestly lost count of how many times water splashed straight at us. At one point, we weren't even trying to avoid the puddles anymore, we were aiming for them. The entire route was so well planned, there was never a dull moment. If you're visiting Bali and enjoy a little adventure, I genuinely think this is something you shouldn't miss. We stopped at one of the shopping centers nearby. This place had pretty much everything you could think of: clothes, souvenirs, local snacks, accessories. If you enjoy shopping, it's very easy to lose track of time here. Thankfully, we eventually remembered we still had more things to do. But first, one more food stop, because apparently, exploring Bali burns a lot of calories. This time we visited Jun Cafe for lunch. Our next destination, one of Bali's most iconic attractions, GWK Cultural Park. If you're planning a trip to Bali, I would honestly recommend setting aside plenty of time for this place. There's so much to see that one day almost doesn't feel enough. After collecting our tickets, we stepped inside, and right from the entrance, it was clear this wasn't just another tourist attraction. Before we started exploring, there was one very important stop: food. Apparently, sightseeing works up quite an appetite. And then we started walking around the park. The first massive statue immediately caught our attention. Standing beneath something so enormous really makes you appreciate the amount of craftsmanship that went into creating it. Every detail, every piece of stone, it was absolutely incredible. Little further ahead, another breathtaking sculpture came into view. This one featured Plaza Garuda. Garuda is a legendary bird in Hindu mythology and is a symbol of courage, strength, loyalty, and freedom. Standing beneath this magnificent sculpture, you really begin to appreciate the level of detail. Every feather, every angle has been carefully designed. Eventually, we reached the highlight of the entire park: the magnificent Garuda Wisnu Kencana statue. Standing at around 120 meters tall, it's one of the tallest monumental statues in the world. And believe me, no photo had prepared me for seeing it in person. We came across an art gallery tucked away inside the park. Curiosity got the better of us, so naturally, we went in to have a look. It's amazing how every part of this park manages to teach you something new. There's always something interesting waiting around the next corner, so by now, the afternoon had completely disappeared without us even noticing. Time really does fly when you're enjoying. Eventually, it was time to head back, but not before stopping at one of our favorite restaurants once again. Yes, we were back at Chun Cafe. At this point, I think it is officially our comfort restaurant in Bali. This time we ordered another delicious rice dish. I wish I could remember the name, but I can definitely remember how good it tasted. Let's just say there wasn't much left of the plate by the time we finished. Now we're ready for another unique Balinese experience. Imagine a place where coffee begins its journey with the help of a tiny animal. Sounds strange? Well, that's because we were already standing in the middle of a coffee plantation where this fascinating process begins. So this is definitely one of the most unique experiences of the entire trip. A Luwak coffee plantation. Now, before coming to Bali, I've heard about Luwak coffee, but seeing how it's actually made was a completely different experience. As soon as we arrived, one of the guides welcomed us and took us on a tour around the plantation. This place itself was beautiful. It felt more like walking through a tropical garden than a coffee plantation. There were cocoa trees, vanilla plants, coffee trees. It was fascinating to see where so many everyday ingredients actually come from. Watching the ladies roast and grind the coffee by hand made you appreciate just how much work goes into every single cup. Then came my favorite part, the tasting session. They brought out a whole selection of different coffees and herbal teas for us to try. One after another, different flavors, different aromas, each one completely different from the last. And yes, of course, I had to try the famous Luwak coffee too. Whether you are a huge coffee lover or not, it's definitely an experience worth having. And if you find a favorite, you can even take some home. Let's just say living without buying anything was nearly impossible. And I made sure to take home every taste I loved. Our next stop was somewhere every shopaholic would absolutely love anchor Canggu. The moment we walked in, I knew we weren't leaving empty-handed. Basically, if you're looking for something uniquely Balinese, you will probably find it here. The atmosphere was lovely too. And it was time for dinner. This meal came with one very cheesy surprise, with freshly melted cheese being added until we finally say, okay, that's enough. The next day brought another unforgettable experience. We made our way to Uluwatu. Uluwatu Temple is one of Bali's most iconic landmarks. The views alone are worth the visit. Standing there watching the waves crash against the cliffs below, it almost didn't feel real. But the highlight of the evening was still yet to come. People stand at the gathering for one of Bali's most famous cultural performances, the Kecak and Sari dance. Unlike most traditional performances, this one doesn't rely on musical instruments. Instead, the rhythm is created entirely by dozens of performers chanting together. It's powerful, mesmerizing, and unlike anything I would experience before, I let you enjoy the performance because it's something that really needs to be seen and heard. The Kecak dance tells a traditional story, so it takes a little time to build up. But if you're eager to get to the most spectacular part, because if you're already impatient like me, feel free to skip ahead to the Sari dance. That's where the performance really lights up, literally. After the show, we headed somewhere that felt like the perfect way to end our Bali trip. Dinner right on the beach. Our table was set directly on the sand with the sound of waves just a few meters away. Before we knew it, our time in Bali had come to an end. We are back at Uluwatu International Airport. Suitcases packed, phones completely full of photos and videos, and hearts just a little reluctant to sleep. Our journey home followed the same route. First back to Kuala Lumpur. Watching the airplanes from the airport burst once again, it almost felt like the trip had come full circle. There was something strangely calming about sitting by the window. I found myself replaying the entire trip in my mind. The food, the temples, the waterfalls, the adventures, the beaches, the incredible people we met along the way. Every single day had brought something completely different. And that's exactly what made this trip so unforgettable. Bali isn't just beautiful. It's colorful, it's peaceful, it's exciting, it's adventurous, it's spiritual. And somehow, it manages to make you slow down and appreciate little things. Whether it was watching the sunrise, trying new food, getting soaked during an adventure, or simply sitting quietly at the ocean, every moment became part of a memory I'll always treasure. Thank you so much for joining me on another adventure. I hope you enjoyed experiencing Bali through my eyes. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and come along for many more adventures around the world. Until next time, take care, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next travel diary. Bye!